And then he was asked by the moderator about Imran Khan's incarceration, to which he gave a very, I would say, an interesting response, which has drawn a lot of interest in Pakistan and has become quite controversial. He drew parallel between the imprisonment or the sentencing of Dr. Afia Siddiqui in the United States. I would say it was a good visit. I mean, good is a good word to describe that. I think it was focused. I mean, as you know, the United States and Pakistan have held a series of important meetings since that groundbreaking visit by the army chief. You remember, he came here in May and he had an unprecedented meeting with President Trump at the White House. That was the first time in many, many years that the U.S. president actually invited an army chief and had a formal dinner with him, with a printed menu and everything. So that showed was implied. I mean, that's something very important, but I'll come to that point later. I mean, how every country makes decision based on its interest. But that's a different point. Your question was about this particular visit by our foreign minister and deputy prime minister, Dar to Washington. He was there for a day. He came on the evening of the 24th, met Secretary of State Dar-Rubio on the 25th, and the same evening he went back to New York, where he's attending several meetings as the current president of the UN Security Council. You know that Pakistan holds the presidency for this month, July. It ends in the next few days, but Pakistan will remain a member of the Security Council for the whole year. And in Washington, before he came, there were all sorts of rumors, all sorts of unconfirmed reports. Some people were saying that he was here or he was coming here to request a meeting between President Trump and Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif when the Prime Minister comes to New York to attend the UN General Assembly. Some were saying that he is going to ask for a White House visit by the Pakistani Prime Minister. But obviously, these were all unconfirmed reports. Neither American nor the Pakistani said anything about it. After this important meeting at the State Department between the two foreign ministers, because the U.S. Secretary of State is also the foreign minister. So between these two foreign ministers, both sides issued two statements. In the U.S. statement, the first statement from the United States was a social media post by Secretary Rubio, and then a statement was issued by the office of the spokesperson on behalf of the secretary. And Pakistan also did the same. There was a social media post by the foreign minister, and then also a series of one-liners issued by the Foreign Office in Islamabad. And there was an interesting, you could say, a difference of focus in the statements issued by both sides. While the Pakistani statements focused on the need for enhancing trade with the United States, on concluding a tariff agreement. We were told that Pakistan and the United States were very close to signing a deal, and that deal may happen in weeks and days, not in months. And as you know, that the finance minister was also here 2 weeks ago. He met senior U.S. officials, and after, although there was no press briefing, but they did. The finance minister did issue a statement which indicated, as the foreign minister did, that Pakistan and the United States have sorted out whatever issues they had, and they were ready to signing a trade agreement and a tariff deal. So that was Pakistan's focus, but Pakistan also, the statement issued by the foreign minister and by the foreign office also talked about counterterrorism measures that the United States and Pakistan are taking together. It also talked about bilateral relations. It also talked about regional peace and stability, which was an obvious reference to India and the recent conflict between India and Pakistan. It did talk about the situation in Afghanistan, but the focus was trade and tariff. The American statement, the one that issued by the State Department, interestingly started with Pakistan's role in the Iranian crisis. They said that the two sides discussed this issue and that the Americans appreciate Pakistan's mediatory role in diffusing the tensions with Iran, which indicated that Pakistan has been involved in trying to remove misunderstandings between the United States and Iran, and that the Americans have not only support this role, but they have constantly stayed engaged with Pakistan. And there's another issue that was not obviously mentioned in the statement, but it has already happened twice in this week. Once at a congressional hearing arranged by by pro-Imran Khan elements in Washington, and there an Afghan scholar talked about the need for Pakistan to support Afghan dissidents who want to topple the Taliban government in Afghanistan. And on what's the date? Yesterday, on Friday, an Afghan journalist asked Mr. Dar he urged him to play a role, a similar role that Pakistan played against the Soviet troops in Afghanistan when we supported the Afghan war against the Soviets. He said, is Pakistan willing to play a similar role and enable Afghan dissidents to topple the Taliban government? The foreign minister obviously said, no, Pakistan will not allow this. Pakistan does not want to interfere in the internal affairs of another country, but it did show that there is an interest in Washington, and that's why people have been allowed to raise this issue in meetings with Pakistani officials and politicians, and that there are elements in Washington who want Pakistan to support efforts for toppling the Taliban government. And obviously the Trump administration, President Trump also has said in so many words that Pakistan needs no Iranians better than others and that they can play an effective role. So that too is obvious that Americans want Pakistan to play a role in diffusing tensions with Iran. So these are some of the issues that were discussed. Apparently discussed, of course, in nobody knows what happened between the two leaders, but apparently discussed in the Rubio-Dar meeting. Then, as I have already mentioned, I think that afternoon he spoke at the Atlantic Council, a Washington think tank, where he talked about U.S.-Pakistan relations, emphasized the need for having a durable relation with the United States, and he also underlined the need for the Americans to understand that they need to stay engaged with that region, the South Asian region, where both India and Pakistan have nuclear weapons, and that any misunderstanding or conflict in that region could have disastrous effects. So he emphasized the need for Americans to stay engaged with that region and stay engaged with Pakistan. He did say that Pakistan wants durable relations, not off again, on again type of partnership that we have, but a durable partnership with America. Then he was asked about Pakistan buying weapons in large quantities from China, to which he said that yes, we have been buying weapons from the United States, and then he said that we will buy weapons from wherever we get a better deal. If we get a better deal, we will buy it from you. So that is a very interesting point. And then he was asked by the moderator about Imran Khan's incarceration, to which he gave a very, I would say, an interesting response, which has drawn a lot of interest in Pakistan and has become quite controversial. He drew parallel between the imprisonment or the sentencing of Dr. Afia Siddiqui in the United States and the sentencing of Imran Khan in Washington. He said that both persons, Afia Siddiqui and Imran Khan, have been actually tried by the judiciary and sentenced by the judiciary, and that both countries, and the United States and Pakistan, followed the legal process, the legal procedure, the due process in convicting these persons. And as Pakistan did not interfere in the American judicial process, so the Americans should not also, he didn't say in so many words, but he implied that the Americans should also not interfere in Pakistan's judicial process. So that obviously was interpreted in Pakistan as saying that Pakistan didn't do much for getting Dr. Afia Siddiqui released, and that Pakistan is still not interested in getting a release, and that so Mr. Dar noticed that, and he clarified his position, saying that his statement was taken out of context. He was not justifying the sentencing of Afia Siddiqui, that the PMLN government in the past has tried to actually arrange her release, and that the present government also wants her back. So, but I think this was a controversy that drew a lot of attention in Pakistan, but I think it should be over now, because what he said actually has been Pakistan's position all along. As her statement said, she is the acting ambassador. Actually, some diplomatic sources in Washington told me that she probably is there for 3 weeks, but I don't know why they have sent an acting ambassador for 3 weeks when they already have a CDA, a person looking after the embassy, who has been there for some time. Probably Pakistan and the United States are close to signing some deal, trade deal or whatever, and the Americans feel the need to have an ambassador in Islamabad for that purpose. Some visit is happening, something major is happening. That's why they feel that they have to have an ambassador there, even for 3 weeks.